Dono Dan back with you. Today we're going to cover WinPV 2.0 and some of the new features in this latest version of WinPV from Dynojet. I refer to it as WinPV 2.0. So if you have noticed over the past week, Dynojet has posted and it is available for consumption over the website or via the PV update client. There is new software, which is WinPV 2.0. There's new firmware, and there's a new tune database. And when I say firmware and tune database, there's actually two different versions of each based on what vehicle you're working with. There's a firmware for legacy applications along with the tune database for legacy applications. And then there's a version of firmware and tune database for the latest applications that use the newer style ECM present on your 21 and newer Softail and Touring predominantly, but also those RevMax applications of Pan America, Sportster S, and Nightster. So without further ado, let's just have a look. This will be short and sweet, but there's a very important feature in here that I want to call out to make sure you guys are getting your tuning right because it does behave differently than it has in the past, 12 years or so, 11 years since PowerVision had been released, I think back in 20, 2010, 2011, somewhere in that window. So in any case, if you've noticed or been a good student of WinPV, every calibration item outlined in the tree view has an icon. And the icon will give you an idea of what kind of table you're working with. A 1D table, perhaps just a single metric. I refer to these as a scalar. So just a single cell value has yet a different icon. And then the other style of an icon here is a full table. Okay. Um, and before I get into what's different, I will say that if you watched my previous production on Dynojet PowerVision, how to update your tune to unlock some of the new features, and some of those new features are quite frankly calibration items. So you'll notice a fair bit more available calibration variables or calibration items, tune items, whatever, what have you. So go through and make sure you update, watch my video and make sure you update your tune to make sure you've got all the available um, items in here available for you to edit and to work with. Okay, so now the real meat and potatoes. And this is where, if you're going to pay attention, this is where we need to pay attention. The other style of icon has a little check mark right here. You can see it. Okay, these are called EEprom or config bit items. And you'll notice all of them being, not all, but some are ignored. Some are, these have been edited, so these are not ignored at this point. So let's just take, for example, adaptive control. Right now it's off. We believe it to be off. I want to turn it on. So we're going to take and set this value to 1. Now, when I save this PowerVision tune file, this value will not be written to the ECU, nor will any EEprom item, no matter what value you have typed into this cell, unless you check this box. Okay, so if you leave it unchecked, when it goes through the flash process, it's going to skip over those items. Doesn't matter what you've put in here and saved in here. Only when this checkbox is checked will this value be committed. Okay, so also pay close attention. We'll use active exhaust for this example. When I change this to 1 and I check the box because I do want that value to be committed to the ECU when I flash this tune, notice that it moved. So if I uncheck, back at the top. If I check, it moves. So some people have, indicated that, my God, it disappears. No, it just moves. It's an alphabetical order in this tree view. So again, not to bore you, but check it, uncheck it. Okay, there it is back at the top. Active compression release. Check it again. Now it moves down. Only when this box is checked will any EEprom item actually be flashed to the ECU. Okay, so that's what I wanted to get across to you. This is different behavior than the previous version of WinPV. WinPV 2.0 handles these EEprom items a little bit differently. So unless you want to explicitly change an EEprom or config bit item, you will need to check this box. And of course, commit the proper value for that item. Okay, that's all there is to it. Just want to give you that heads up, keep you out of a bind. And next video I'm going to produce here will be about the new embedded target tune feature that lives right up here. Everything else about WinPV that you know and have used, math functions, device level functions, all that is exactly the same. This new target tune item, as I mentioned, we'll make a separate video about. So thanks for tuning in, and Dino Dan checking out for now.